And welcome to our assignment 4 presentation. Our thesis statement is What Societal Traits Affect Divorce Rates in Canada by Kristen, Darby, and Kaeleigh. These are the 3 sources we will be evaluating for our magazine, scholarly journal article, and our website. So to start with our magazine article, the language was overall very informal. However, it still provided a lot of academic pieces to it. There was a bit of bias, which we will be going over when we talk about the author. So the claims were that Americans under 45 are being seen to stay married, and millennials are decreasing their divorce rates by being more picky about who they marry, waiting till older ages to get married, and then having an education, career, and finances prior to marriage. And then there have been some demographic changes. From 2008 to 2016, divorce rates in America dropped by 8%. Divorce rates are seen to diminish, but marriage is also seen more rare through these ages. The author is Ben, and Ben writes for the Bloomberg News. However, Ben, when you look into him online, he has a lot of personal blogs and personal social media where he posts some of his writing. So we analyze that as there could be some possibility for some bias and more opinionated pieces from him. Time Magazine was who printed this source, and Times Magazine has been around since 1923 and is known for publishing the world's largest amount of weekly news magazines. This specific article is able to point out specific aspects about divorce rate that in a more positive manner, reflecting reasons that divorce rate may have decreased. It's still a magazine, so magazines are overall more opinion-based, and the editing is done more for the structure of the writing, less for confirming data. So there still is some bias to that, and it's not 100% accurate. For our scholarly journal article, we chose the article Standalone or Together, Family Structure and the Business Cycle in Canada. The language was overall formal, easy to understand, and there was a lot of information. So some of the claims they made were using Canadian vital statistics and labor force survey data. They determined that 1% point increase in the unemployment rate of men is associated with a 13% decline in the number of marriages performed per 1,000 single female each quarter. There's not a significant relationship between unemployment rates and aggregate flows of divorce. They found out that 25 to 44-year-olds, there's a significant increase in the single parents with children under the age of 18 and the unemployment rate rises. 35 to 54-year-olds, there's a significant increase of those living alone, and there's some evidence that elderly parents are joining their children and living in their households. Analyzing the authors, these are the 3. They work for the Department of Economics at Wilfrid Laurier University in Waterloo, Canada. We analyze this as very reputable as they work for a university and a very well-established university. Also, the work is peer-reviewed. For the purpose of the sources, to examine the relationships between business cycle fluctuations and family formation and structure, using Canadian vital statistics and labor force survey data, using stock measures of marital status and family type, the importance of the business cycle varies substantially by each age group. So for our website, we chose to analyze selected statistics on Canadian families and family law. So when analyzing this, it was very formal. There was a very large lack of bias. It lacked contention. There was a lot of quantitative data over qualitative data, very number-based, and a very basic analysis. They didn't have much of a chance to go into their opinions or thoughts. It was very much here are the numbers, this is what they mean. They claimed that in 1997, there were 223 divorces per 100,000 people. And in 1997, BC, Alberta, and Quebec had the highest divorce rate in Canada. Out of all the third world countries, Canada has the lowest divorce rate out of all of them, and America doubles Canada in between being countries like England and Australia. In 1985, there was a Divorce Act that prior to the divorce rate started to go down because people weren't sure about this act, but once the act was implemented, the divorce rate went up. The author is the Government of Canada and the Department of Justice, so we view this as very reputable as they would use correct statistics. For the purpose of the sources, there were a lot of comparisons and reliable statistics, and they're very basic statistics, so it was very black and white, so there wasn't much chance for there to be any other opinions in there. And here are our references. Thank you very much.